Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. Now in this video we will introduce us to the heading tags. So what is the heading tags? Well, we've actually done this in one of the introduction videos we did, but not at length. So in this video we will talk about heading tag and what it is. Now let's get back into our code. I'll go ahead to create a new file called heading.html, and again, it's just to keep our work organized and also have references. I'll press the exclamation key and press the tab key, and we will start by typing heading 1. We'll just call it H1. Now, by the number of precedents after the H text, it tells us how big this heading is going to probably appear on the browser. And I'll show us this in just a couple of minutes. So what I'll do is, alright, H2, say heading 2. And I'm just going to duplicate this more. And then watch what I do when I change H3. I started with an opening tag, and I'm going to close it with a heading 3 tag. And watch what happens when I say heading 4. The same thing. We have up to heading 6. Now they all have its uses. Though it's pretty much strange to use the heading 6 tag, it's rarely used, to be honest, because in my time of coding, I basically, wouldn't fall back to using heading 6, because basically we could actually style the size of headings, to be honest, but then again, it's definitely worth knowing what they are. Let's just see. So you see the order of precedence, how this heading one looks big, H2, H3, 4 to 6. Now you rarely use 6 because, in my opinion, it's quite similar to the div tag we said, but probably more bold. So you see, the heading 6 is quite closer to, by default. When I mean by default, I mean the browser renders these styles by default, quite similar to the heading 4, but this time the heading 6 probably in the div class. In the div class, it doesn't have the bold, and the heading 4 is quite bold. So I see no reason why you'd want to use heading 6, but definitely it's not me shit talking on heading 6. It's just trying to introduce us to what headings are. Yeah, just like the div class, we can actually stack heading inside of each other. Now don't tell anyone I told you this, but yes we can, but it's not good practice, to be honest, because what you see is we basically just stack this and it shows as it should, but it is bad semantics. So when you have a heading, and heading should be a heading and it shouldn't have any sibling in it. If it is to have any sibling, and then the span would be your best friend, right? But what you notice is that the heading is actually putting most of the styles into the span. I'll show you what I mean. So when I say span, I'll say standalone span, and then you'd see what it actually looks like. So this is what a span is outside the heading tag, and this is what a span is inside the heading tag. It's big, and just so you see, there's something called semantics, which means the basic structure principle this programming thing should be written in good practice and approach, but definitely feel free to do this. When you got to CSS styling, cascade and style sheet, you'll probably see how much flexibility you have to actually do things the way you like without anyone criticizing your approach or thingy. Okay, so that's that about the heading tag, and I'll see you on the next video where we will talk about the image tag. Alright, I hope you're having much fun learning this. And basically, if you learn watching this video up to this extent, I'll just pretty much advise whatever I've done so far, just pull up your computer, pull up your laptop, do what I do. If you get confused, send me a message or hit the comment section. I'm here to help. Basically, the concern is, if you see me type something like this, H1, and say, I type this, and then you watch, you could give 10 seconds and try to repeat that. Pause the video if I'm going too fast. Repeat the video and try to just practice. There's more fun seeing it run on your computer. And not to say you might face an hurdle, probably installing Visual Studio Code or making this work. but you'll never know until you try them. So just give it a try. If you've got any issues, give me a shout out and I'll try to get back as soon as possible. Alright everyone, see you on the next video where we'll talk about the image tag.